Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Chuck's Pain. Welcome to Throwing the Towel podcast again. This is my only show, so I'm doing the amateur analyst portion. I've just been running down doing the sleepers for this NFL draft for each position. Excuse me, y'all, because I'm a little bit tired. You know, it's been a long day. Just got off of work and everything, but yeah, let's just jump right into it because I don't want this to be too long. But I want to kind of let you guys know something too. I updated. So I was watching. You know, it's crazy. I didn't know other people were doing this like using these computer science or coding, whatever, to break down some. And then obviously, I knew people were doing. I just didn't know people were actually on YouTube doing it. Like, shout out to Steve Pelosi, I believe that's his name, for PFF. It looks like he has his own model that he uses as well, which is essentially not his specific one, but essentially I just made my own model. And I actually used, for the production part of my model, I've used the PFF Pro Football Focus stats that they have, their advanced stats, like their true set pass rush defense, true set rush percentage, stuff like that. Just that. So what I did is, if you guys know from the last videos I had, I created an algorithm that compares the past 2 years of all pro teams for that specific position, and I compared that. I ran their comparison to the rest of their draft. And when I'm comparing this, I'm comparing their traits coming out of college. So their measurements, you know, their 40 times, 3 cones and all that. So that's what I did with the first couple positions. Now I'm kind of adding in also their production coming out of college as well. And I'm using, that's the pro PFF. That's the PFF part I'm using. So I'm using the production part as well. So for example, like I just added I'm doing edge rushers today. So I just added the grades for the pass rush defense, the true sets of the PRP, and the PRP from Pro Football Focus is just the accumulation of hits, pressures, and sacks all together to give you a good analysis of like the percentage of how much pressure this edge rusher does give to the quarterback. But so to be specific, I believe, I'm not exactly sure, but I believe I added the grade pass rush defense, the true set grade pass rush defense, the true set PRP, and also the true set of total pressures as well. So the pass rush defense percentage is right here, grades pass rush defense, and the true pass set. And I did win percentage as well. I did the win percentage right here, and I also did the PRP, which is right here. And then I kind of incorporated sacks as well, but I really wanted to see the total pressures, true pass total pressure, because sacks is a very I feel like sacks is a very overrated stat, just to be honest with you guys, because the guy who gets the sack usually, or not even usually, but there's guys who get sacks that like are only reason they're getting sacks because the other player on the other side is so good that they're double teaming him, or he's always getting pressure, he's always sitting so close, so the quarterback is kind of escaping to the other side, and that other side guy gets the sack. So I really just think it's about how you affect the quarterback. Hits, pressures, you know, that's the best way you could affect the quarterback. Otherwise, if you're not doing that, you can get 1 sack or 1-2 sacks a game and just be the O-lineman still lock you down the rest of the game. I would say that's you know, a win for the O-line. So, but without further ado, so yeah, I just want to explain that, and I think I will do another video where, you know, I'm gonna break down fully the model that I use. I'm gonna be calling the model because I stole that from Steve Pelosi at PFF. Again, shout out to him because I like using that like model. That I'm gonna use like that word model. Like, so that this is essentially my model for the draft. So like I said, I did the trait side and I also did the production side. I also so then for my sleepers, the process for my sleepers is, so what I did was I compared the trait side of my program with the production side of my program. That's the production of the from PFF, those true stats I was talking about. So basically I just wrote a program, you know. I don't want to show you guys because I know there's a lot of Steelers on YouTube, but I just want to remind you guys, I am a programmer. I'm a professional programmer. This is what I do. I mean, it's really nothing to me. Oh, and let me continue. But yeah, so I just made a kind of like a algorithm, 2 algorithms really, one for the production side and one for the for the trait side, as far as combine stats and hand size and length and all that shit, like this stuff. So I made two separate algorithms. If I went ahead and a manual, I think there's about 11 guys that showed up on my trait side, and I just searched for their if they actually eventually showed up on my production side as well. And so also, by the way, this is not a top 5 in this position list, because I feel like everyone's doing a top 5 in this position. I'm gonna do top 5 sleepers. That's my that's what I do. I'm gonna do the top 5 sleepers, because I feel like almost every single year, without a doubt, there's many sleepers in the draft that people just overlook. It's so weird, some of the stuff that people overlook just because of whatever. Like I was going through some of these players, I'm like, why are they not like higher ranked? And the higher ranked players are like, some of them don't have the same production or even the traits. So I'm okay. I'll just get into it, but I'm gonna start with number 5 as well. So this player, so let's start with number 5. So this player showed up on my production. As you see, this right here, this screen that you guys are seeing is my production, is what the list of names that my production algorithm gave out that have the best production rates, as far as the defensive pass rush rate, as far as the win percentage, as far as the PRP, as far as the total pressures. These are the top guys that came out from this year's draft class for that. If you see 2 names at once, that means they had multiple years, because what I did is I combined all the years of 2018 to 2022, which is roughly about all the years of this draft, people coming out of this draft. Because even if it was 2017, now I feel like that's a little bit too far. So I just combined 2018 because they do it, PFF does it by year. So I just every year I did 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022, and I just combined them in one single spreadsheet, and then I put that data into my algorithm, and it shot out the best names as far as this year's draft. I put that data algorithm competed with this year's draft class, so we're not getting people back in 2018 or 2019. I made sure that it only includes people within this draft class. So that explained, if any of you guys get what I'm talking about. So that explained, I just want to say, this is basically the best production rate as far as edge rushers go for this year's draft class, and then showing the people who actually show up as far as another thing is these people are the people that their production rates match the all-pro players' production rates. I did an average of the all-pro players' production rates as well. So these past 2 years, Nick Bosa, I'm talking about Nick Bosa, Khalil Mack, Micah Parsons, Hassan Reddick. So all those people who made the all-pros in the past, I believe it's 2 years, I used their data coming out of college, their data of their production rates coming out of college, which I was really, 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 really thankful that PFF, keeps all that. They started doing this data collection since 2018, so I was really thankful for that, because if I didn't have that, like, I don't know what I would do with this data, because this at this point is just data that shows who's this and who's that, but you have to compare it to something else that's more stable. That's why I compared it with the all-pro percentages of their win rates, of their PRP levels, of their rush pass grade coming out of college, not in the NFL, coming out of college. So if they had let's say Micah Parsons, for example, who was in college for, let's say, 3 or 4 years, I use each year, I averaged each of the years out, and then it gave me a percentage, and then I compared that with the draft class of this year as well. And I also gave it a little bit of a standard deviation error. So I just, -5 here, +5 here, -5 here. So it's it doesn't have to be the exact number, the exact number that Mike Parsons has, but it has to be somewhere in that ballpark. In certain situations, like, if I'm not gonna put a cap on sacks, like, you can only be +10 sacks, because the more sacks you have, the better. So it's just I just put an arbitrary number, 1,000, whatever, as far as the max level of sacks. And the min level of sacks, I believe that's maybe 3 or something. But just to give you a general reference as where these players are supposed to be going. So without further ado, I know I spent too long talking about this, but let me start with number 5. So number 5 I have, that's really just, and it's only on the production side, is Karl Brooks. And so let me show you guys here. So this right here is Karl Brooks. He actually showed up about twice here, because he showed up twice here because that means he's had more than one season with these productivity rates. Okay. So I'm sorry, three times. So he's 12, 13, and 18. Yeah. He jumped up three times. Now look, I didn't just look at the numbers and compact the numbers. I also looked at the tape too, just to get a good feel for the player. If why they're coming up on this rate, why they're not ranked higher, and why they're not, why people are or why people are not talking about him. So I just kind of wanted to do that as well. Looking for my Karl Brooks. So with Karl Brooks, let's start off with the pros. He plays for Bowling Green, and I know that's a really low conference. I don't even know the conference name. I think it's a MAC or some shit, but he is dominant on the field. I'm talking about, like, he is fucking dominant. Like, he is destroying people. Like, O-line, like, they cannot guard this dude. They cannot guard him. Like, the whole game. I watched 2 games he played. It was Bowling Green versus, I forgot who the fuck these people was, but he was just destroying them. I think he's played Southern Utah or some shit like that. I don't know if it was something like that, but he was just destroying them every time he was in the game. No one could guard him at all. No one could guard him. He had great versatility. He was all around the defense line. I saw him play in the interior. I saw him play in the edge. I saw him play at linebacker one time. He uses his hands very well. He has great pass rush technique as far as hand usage and just explosiveness. He has great, like I said, great pass rush moves. He's always in the backfield. And another thing that surprised me is he's very, very, very quick for his size. Very quick. It was like shockingly quick for his size, because he's over 300 pounds. And he looks like his build is kind of awkward. I would say that because he looks like he looks too small to be an interior player, but he looks a little bit too big to be like an edge. But I think, he's versatile. He can play in any, it's hard because I think you can really maximize him if you make him maybe gain a little bit more weight and he becomes an interior player. And he can be like, and I'm just throwing his name out here because I don't have any other, like, maybe like an Aaron Donald type, or like another thing you could possibly do is, put him in the 4-3 and see what happens, make him be the defensive end in the 4-3. Let's see what happens. Let's see, like, if he's still making those plays and everything, or if just whatever he's comfortable with. All I know is that he's very productive, very, very productive. So if you look at here, I'm going to do something real quick. Okay. So Karl Brooks is, as far as win percentage, he's ranked number 9th right here as far as my data or PFF's data. And I just kind of, messed with it, but yeah, he's ranked number 9th for win percentage. And he's on here for multiple years. So that's how, it's not like he was I think he was a 3-time team captain. He probably has the most career sacks in their history. Like, he is a beast. He's like, he's destroying people. Now, I will say the only issue I have with him is, so he has a couple weaknesses. One, let's start with the obvious. We don't know who the fuck he's playing against. I'm just being honest with you. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I don't even watch the major college football teams like that. So I don't know who the fuck he's playing. Like, I know he played for Bowling Green. Only person I know who went to Bowling Green was maybe Dree Archer. And I don't even know if I have that right. He may be someone else, but I don't know anyone from Bowling Green. I don't know who the fuck they playing, He's just out there. I was looking, like, the film looks like old as shit. It looked like a high school game film. Like, that's when you start, like, kind of getting to, okay. Look, if you turn on YouTube and you see, like, a video of a college team and the film looks like high school football film, they're not playing good competition. I'm just being honest with y'all. Like they're not playing great competition. They're still college players, so they're still really good. They're just not playing great top tier competition. So that's his number one knock. Like, but the thing I have about that is, like, I say, like, if you're playing of inferior competition, you have to dominate. That's what he's doing. Like, don't make no mistake about it. He is absolutely dominating. And like, he should not, he looks like he shouldn't be on this team. He looks like he should be on like a D1 team, because it's not even fair. He's just dominate people. So, but, yeah, so one of his cons is, I don't have a lot of cons for him. One of his cons is the weak conference. Another con I have with him is, he didn't show up in my, traits measurables. So, like I was talking about before, I have a one side of my algorithm that does the traits and one side of my algorithm that does the production. He showed up twice in my production for different years, but he didn't show up for the traits measurables, which is kind of a concern for me because the best players in the league have, like, you know, honestly, they kind of show up on both. Like, I'm gonna do a top 5 of, I don't know, I may do a quick top 5 of edge players in general, but I'll tell you right now, my number 1 is Tyree Wilson because he shows up in both. Well, no, I'm sorry. Number 1 is between Tyree Wilson and Will Anderson because these players show up in both the traits. They have the traits that you need, and they also have the they also have the size, the traits, the size. They also have the production, and that's like almost a surefire bet for it to be like a, you know, like a really, really good player in the NBA, really good player in the NFL. So that's one thing. That's my only issue with him. But other than that, I think they have him listed as a 5th round pick. I believe they said 5th round pick, which I mean, if you're getting him in the 5th round, I think it's a good, you know, I think it's a good bet because you're not, even though you're all trying to draft on traits, I still think like he's a good, because of his production, his dominance, and he's going to be a fun player to kind of like scheme and see how he fits into the defense. So that's my number 5, Karl Brooks. He's number 5. My number 4 player, give me 1 second here. I don't want to mess his name up. Nick Herbig from Wisconsin. That's my number 4. Now, Nick Herbig, I guess and people say I do have a type. Like, I have a type of woman, I have a type of car, and I have a type of NFL player I like. And for at edge rusher, like, the type for me is I like lanky, like explosive guys. And Nick Herbig is in that realm. Now, he is still undersized a little bit. He's only about 6'2", and he doesn't have the lower body strength that you would want in a DN or edge position. Give me 1 second. Yeah, he's only about 6'2", 240, 6'2", 240. That's really skinny, because I mean, I think that's about how much I weigh. But it's I mean, that's not really skinny, but he doesn't have the same build. Like, he didn't show up in my traits side of the algorithm either. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, he ran a decent 40 time. I think it was like 4.6 something, and so that's not bad. 4.65. He had a 1.59 10 yard, which is okay. He did 25 reps, which is pretty good. It's just when you look at his film. So let me go to his pros and cons. So for Nick, let's start with the pros. He's very versatile, just like Karl Brooks. They show him he lines up anywhere. There's times he's playing slot corner, which is kind of weird to me. Like, I don't know why they put him out there, but sometimes he's playing slot corner. Sometimes he's playing for outside linebacker coverage. I saw one he was playing in middle line, but like, they move him around a lot because he's their best. I would say he's probably their best athlete on defense. They have a very sound, like, gap protection defense, and he's most explosiveness on defense. So he's very versatile. He needs to put more weight on that. We already mentioned that. He played for Wisconsin, which is like the highest competition. Like, I think Big Ten is probably the second best league out under the SEC. So he played for a really good conference and still had great production, which is a really good sign. And the reason, you know how he popped up to me? He's only on here one time, I believe, but I kept just doing the wins percentage, looking for like the sorting them out as like from the number 1 to the worst, the first to the worst, for each of the different columns and different traits and stuff. He kept, I just would scroll left to my screen. He just kept being up there. It doesn't matter what column over here that I'm like kind of sorting out. It'd be 13, 14, 50, pass rush, wins, penalty, whatever. Like, he'll always stay up around this like top 15 range. And I was like, who is this? So that's why when I actually went to go look at his tape, because he didn't show up in my traits thing. Like I say, he didn't show up in my traits thing. So usually if you don't show up in my traits thing, I don't have time to, I'm going to be honest, I don't have time to look at every fucking player's tape. I'm not going to do that. And and most people are not doing that. And if anyone tells you they're doing that, they're fucking lying. Nobody's doing that shit. So let me, but yeah, but he really flashed on tape. He really did. Like I said, you can put more weight on. Highest competition with production. He hustles to a lot. He has a great motor. He hustles a lot. He's very physical for his size. Even though he's undersized, he's still pretty physical, which I like. He has good speed and pass rush skills. They're not great, but there is decent speed and decent pass rush skills. Decent bend, and he has really good hands. I would say his hands is probably the best attribute for him. He needs to work on some stuff. I would say, so for his cons, I just had, like I said, he's not great size. Another thing that kind of stood out on tape for me is just he misses a lot of tackles. He really does. And I think that's coming from the fact that his lower body isn't as strong. So what happens is, like, when he goes up against like stronger players or players who are kind of bigger or just kind of stronger or just kind of harder to tackle in general, like it's kind of frustrating because he's always in the backfield. He's always in great position, but then he'll just miss the tackle. And so that's the number one thing I think the issue I have. That's why I think he has I believe like a third or fourth round grade. I think in the third round though, that if he gets in the fourth round, that's a steal. And I think third round is like a pretty good area for him. I just think he'll produce. He can produce better than some of the other players I've been seeing up on the top of the list. But yeah, Nick, he's the real deal. So the only issue, like I said, he also plays too high at times. So but those are things that you can work on. You know, they're not things that are like, are so bad. You can work on having good form tackling. You can work on, gaining weight. You can work on, pad leverage and football too. Like once he gets in the NFL, they're going to work on all this shit for him. So, we'll see. But I think as right now, he's my fourth best sleeper prospect in this draft. That's a lot to say, but my fourth best sleeper prospect in this draft, Nick Herbig. Now I'm trying to go through these real quick because I don't want this video to be too long, but let's do number 3. Number 3 is, let me show you how the pronunciation of his name, because, Felix Anudike-Uzomah. See? I told you I'm African. But he's my number 3. He's number 3. And I know, he's not really, I wouldn't say he's a sleeper pick. I don't even know what they have in like his draft projection is. Let me look that up real quick. Yeah, he's not really my sleeper pick. Because some like the draft projection for him, some people are saying late first round, second round, late second round. So it's not like he's a sleeper pick for me. I just think he just ended up on my list because here's when we start getting to the players who are actually showing up on both the trait side as well as the production side. So what you're seeing on the screen right now for my Excel sheet is the production side, and my trait side is on a different document. So that shows the 11 guys that came out as my trait side, and I watched all the tape of everyone just to see if they should be on the list or not. But he flashed. He definitely did. Unlike the other players, these other edge players we were talking about, I think he's more so a true 4-3 defensive end, because I don't think he will play outside line. He can, but I think it would be better for him if he was in the 4-3 system as either side defensive end. Because let me just read out some of his pros. He's probably the strongest player I've seen as far as just pure strength, as far as like at the edge position this year. So he's just very strong. I mean, like he was double teamed a lot. And he was just strong. He was double teamed. He was double teamed so much. He was able to fight through double teams. He was able to fight through, like, they double teamed. They held him. I looked at his tape and I was like, God damn, like he's making some plays, but he's working. He's getting beat the fuck up because they're just. I don't know if they thought he was Lawrence Taylor, but they'll double team him, have the running back chip him. Like, he's just like, they're making sure he's not. So because of that, a bunch of his other teammates were getting open for plays. That's why I don't only measure it in like stats, because stats play a big part. Obviously, I'm a programmer. They play a big part, but you have to actually watch the game tape, because once you watch the game tape, you can tell that, you know, he was getting beat up, and he was still battling there. With all that being said, his other pros are, he uses his hands very well. He's a great hand usage player. Like I said, he's always double team. He has decent pass rushing skills, pass rushing moves. He does a kind of a swim move. He does the karate. I once called it the karate chop move that some defensive or edge players do. He has a pretty nice edge bend. I think he probably, of all the people I've talked to so far, he probably has the, in between him and Nick, like they have the best as far as who I've already talked about. He's sorry, I'm trying to get back to the note. I noticed one thing too, is that like in the beginning, because I did see some different media outlets saying, oh, he's not a great get off after the ball, and they, in the beginning of the season, they were right. Like he was kind of a step slower than everyone else, like getting off the ball. But what I like to see more than anything is progression, especially within the season. Because when it came to that TCU, I watched the Missouri game that happened, it was like the third, fourth game of the season, or second, something like that. Then I watched that late TCU game that they had in the Big 12 championship. He was getting off the ball. Like someone must have told him, like, dude, like you would be great if you get off the ball, you know, faster. And that's what he did. He now is a really good get off. I was watching the TCU game. Yeah. So that's really my pros about him. I think he's going to be a 4-3 defensive end. I think that's a good place to put him for right now. But you know, he can also play a 3-4 outside linebacker. He really can, the edge, and play that. But I just think you'll get more out of him as a 4-3 defensive end. And if you played a 4-3 and you were looking for a pure DN prospect, I think he would be a good prospect for that. So yeah, I think he's my number 3. I think he's the start of the guys who are showing up in both sides, right? So I want to move to number 2. I'm going through these pretty fast because I didn't know this video was going to be over 30 minutes long. But let me do number 2. Number 2. This is going to be a shocker because I haven't heard anyone talk about this dude, but I'm going to give him some love. Lonnie Phelps, University of Kansas, transferred from I have no idea. Let me look it up real quick. Let me see. Miami, Ohio. That's what I knew. He transferred from Miami, Ohio, which is so fucking weird to say every time. Miami of Ohio to University of Kansas. And I'm going to tell y'all this. I don't know why nobody's talking about him. I don't know why he's all the way down here. They list him as an undrafted free agent. Well, let me not say that because I don't fucking know. But for my money, I'm putting this on Lonnie Phelps. When I looked at his tape, I was like, what is everyone not seeing? He's kind of undersized. I get that. He's kind of undersized, especially in this day and age, but he is so explosive. He's so explosive at the ball. The only other person that comes in his realm of explosiveness is Karl Brooks, number 5. But he's better than Karl Brooks as far as, I believe he has a more all-around game. And plus, even though Kansas wasn't bad this last year, but Kansas better competition than what Karl Brooks is playing. Even though people don't think that Big 12 is Kansas in the Big, people think that Big 12 is trash now, but it's still better competition than the MAC, whatever the hell they call it. But for his pros, he's very versatile too. That's a theme I'm getting. A lot of these, and I feel like that's the reason why a lot of these guys are getting knocked, because they're tweener guys, right? They're in between, whatever, like the prototypical DN, prototypical edge rusher, prototypical D tackle. So that people don't know what to do with him, so they just rank him low. He's going to make a team for sure. That's why I said one of my notes is he has the best pass rush ability I've seen so far. Out of all the people I've looked at, including my number 1 player, he has the best pass rush ability I've seen. I'm talking about he's able to, like, he's a pass rush specialist. Like, he knows the moves inside and out. Like, he's able to repeat them. He's very speedy. When you look at him, I think when you look at him, you're a bit underwhelmed because he has a weird body shape and he's about 6'2" maybe. And he's not necessarily pretty big, but he has a really great lower body, and he is able to. And people are shocked. I feel like old linemen are literally shocked by how fast he is. Like, just go watch the tape. I mean, like actual in-game tape. Lonnie Phelps Jr. Go watch the tape. He is really like. He's really good. He's really good. Very, very strong for his size. Very strong. Plays inside sometimes. Like I said, he has that versatility ability. He has that natural bend that I love to see from DNs. Once I see that, I'm like, okay, they can actually be a pass rusher in the NFL, because you can't be a pass rusher in the NFL if you don't have that bend. So he has that, and he was I was like, he's just he's the best as far as pass rush ability from what I've seen. And keep in mind, I haven't watched tape of Will Anderson or Tyree Phillips, I believe, or Tyree Wilson. I'm sorry. Yet, like some of the top guys, I haven't watched tape fully, but he, as far as the people I watch, as far as the sleepers, he has the best pass rush ability, even over number one. My number one, he's number one for a different set of reasons, but yeah, he's best pass rush ability. See, because of that, he's not. Now, I will say he's not an overall just great prospect. He's not, because he doesn't play the run very well. Like I said, he's small for his position. He misses tackles from time to time. Another thing is he's so passionate. Like he's trying to, and I get it. He's trying to like make a play for his team so much, and he knows he has the skills to do it, that he will he will just go 100% pass rush. And sometimes it leaves like wide open gaps. So like, if the running back could like leak out that way, or the quarterback might just move to the gap he left, so it's like bad contained. So that's stuff that he has to work on, like as he or depending on what team he's in, like he can just be a third down long specialist, like just pass rush. But it depends on what team he's in. But I think that would, if he wants to stay on the field for a long time, that would be something he has to work on. But other than that, like the reason he's number two. Don't get me wrong. The reason he's number two right now on my list of sleepers, because he's just pure pass rush, like instant pass rush. Like, just go look at his tape. I don't understand why people are not looking at his tape. Maybe it's because like his name never pops up, because he's everyone projects him as an undrafted free agent. But his name popped up, and I would say, as for as small as he is, his name popped up in my traits list. His name also popped up in my trace list model. His name also popped up in my productions model. So, he's right here. Let me see. He was right here. Oh shit. There he is, Lonnie Phelps. Right there, Miami, Ohio. His year in Miami, Ohio. And he has another, and I kind of made it, I kind of I made it more tighter, the jurisdiction, or as far as the jurisdiction, the max and the minimum, for the true sets and everything. I made it more tighter. At first he had 2 years in here, but now he has the one out of Miami, Ohio. But he's really good. He's really good. I can't deny that. So let's talk about the last person. So number one, before I get to number one, let me just do some special, cause I just want to shout him out. Cause I know maybe you guys are seeing, even with another guy who came upon me up is Fehoko. Only reason I haven't done him yet is cause I might do him as far as a D tackle, because they list him as an interior defensive lineman, some drafts, but here he popped up on my traits in my production list. So out of San Jose State, and I looked at his tape, and he's pretty nice. He's pretty nice, but I may put him in my defensive line or interior D line list, which will come out sometime this week. Yeah, that's about it. That's the only. There's other players. Ali Gay, he just didn't have enough production for me. He popped up in my traits list though. I don't want to do that. Byron Young was another person that popped up in my traits list, and he popped up in. I believe he popped up in this list too. No, he didn't. He didn't pop up in this list because, yeah. So I usually like steer away from guys who don't pop. I looked at his tape and he's okay, but some of those guys that play at those like high levels, sometimes they don't kind of transition well to the NFL, as far as the talent around them. But let's just go to my number one pick, because this is already too fucking long. Number one pick is our number one sleeper for sure. It's not even a question of doubt. Is Derick Hall. Derick Hall out of Auburn University. Okay, Derick Hall. See, Derick Hall. I would say Derick Hall is not Derick Hall is a really good pass rusher. He is. He's not the same pass rusher as Lonnie Phelps. However, he's a way better overall player than Lonnie Phelps. He just is. Let me read you his stats here, because they list him as 6'3". On tape, he looks about 6'4", 6'5" maybe. He is big. 254. He ran, you know what he ran a 4.5. When I say this is an ultimate athlete, this is an ultimate athlete at the edge position right here. Now, and what did the icing on my cake is because there's a lot of guys who are athletes at the edge position, but they don't have the same type of production that Derick Hall has. I mean, let's just look at this list. This is my production list. He pops up here for 3 different years. He pops up here at 27, 17, maybe 2. Hold on. And then 35, 27, and then 17. He pops up on my list here. 3 different years. He was I believe he was a 4-year starter. He was his team captain like almost every year. I haven't watched Will Anderson, but from what people say about Will Anderson, he seems to me as like that type of mold, like just an all around like great player. Yeah, all around great player, all great personality as far as like leadership skills and everything like that. Let me just read you some of these pros. Like I said, he's an athletic freak. Like, let's just keep that in mind. He's an athletic freak. Let me see here. Yeah, you list him at 6'2", about 6'3", 254 pounds, 10-inch hands, 34 vertical or 34 wingspan, 1.61 in the 10-yard, 4.6. No, sorry, I'm reading the wrong things. 4.5 40-yard shuttle, 33.5 vertical, and 10-inch broad jump. I mean, that's he's 254 pounds, almost 6'4", 254 pounds. That's an athlete right there. He may be a hedge smaller than Will Anderson. Like I said, athletic freak, really nice bend. He has a really nice bend for that size. Usually you don't get both. Like if you get both, you have like someone like Aldon Smith. Like when you first came out, like that's what happens when you get both of the bend and the size. So he has a nice bend. He's 3-4 edge or the Bosa's brothers. He'll definitely be an outside linebacker in the 3-4 scheme. Like it's no question. He can do everything a linebacker can do, and he can rush the passer. He's gonna be. I would definitely. You got to be crazy to play him in any other place as except your edge linebacker in the 3-4 scheme. Very versatile. But I say he's very versatile. But I say stay in that same position. But he's very versatile within that position. What I mean by that is that he doesn't only have to rush the passer. He can cover. He runs a 4.5. He can cover. He has great change of direction, or good. Well, at least good enough for that size. Like I mean, it's kind of fun to watch this tape. It really is. He defends passes. You could tell he's gap disciplined. That's another thing with Nick Prospect I talked about from Wisconsin too. He's very gap disciplined as well. I like gap disciplined players because they're like I like it. I like them. Plays the run very well. And because once you have good gap players, it just makes your whole defense better. Like I said, he can set the edge. He can hold his ground on the edge, so that allows the linebackers to come up and stop the running back. The only cons I have for him is if he wants to become great, like if he's going to be like, the reason he's number 1 is because he has prospect to be like the best edge player that we get from this draft. Like even I think even better than Tyree Wilson or Will Anderson. I'm not saying he's going to. I'm just saying he has a prospect to be, because like for example, he's so good and there's still stuff he could work on. Like he's kind of skinny. So he can work on gain more muscle. So sometimes he gets blocked easily because he's kind of skinny. He can work on some pass rush moves. He already has a nice tool belt of pass rush moves, but if he just learns even more, like maybe the power to speed or speed to power moves a little bit more, then he would be that just that alone will make him a a top defensive player in the league. And also he's another thing added with that is if he can use his hands a little bit better, then I think that would be a good transition to the league. You know, to something that he could work on and everything like that. But I mean, that's just gonna be like icing on the cake to me, honestly, because I think as he is right now, I think he can definitely end up being a top 5 edge player from this draft, maybe even top 3 or 2. That's just me personally. I really haven't watched or looked at any tape for the top players. I looked at Tyree Phillips, a little bit of Will. I haven't looked at Will Anderson. I looked a little bit at Tyree Phillips and some other players, but Van Ness. But I don't know. I just like Derick Hall. If you're not talking about Tyree Phillips or Will Anderson Jr. as far as edges go, I think Derick Hall is the third best to me. Just to me, he's the third best edge player in this draft. Yeah, like I mean, he just has it all. Like he's a great player, great personality, has good hustle and all that. So, I just think he'll work out. So that's my number 1. This video is longer than I thought it would be, but just to go through the list again. Just number 5, I have Karl Brooks from Bowling Green University. Number 4, I have Nick Herbig from Wisconsin. Number 3, I have Felix Anudike-Uzomah from Kansas State. And number 2, I have Lonnie Phelps Jr. from Kansas. And number 1, I have Derick Hall from Auburn University. So those are my top 5 sleepers. This is a journey that we're all going to take together, because we're going to kind of track them throughout when they do get drafted, or if not, they don't get drafted. We're going to track these sleepers' journeys in every position. We're just going to see what happens, make any updates to the model that I have right now. Again, my goal, let's just let y'all know, my goal is to get this to be the most accurate model as possible. We're just going to do that and see like how accurate we can get this model. I have the trait side already. I have the production side already. But again, if whatever happens this year with this NFL, how good these players end up being, we can make the updates to the model. And if you guys have any suggestions on how to make updates or better updates to the model, you can hit me up in my DMs as well, or throw in the towel 214 on Instagram. Please like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Throw in the Towel podcast. We just finished the last weekend we just finished our full podcast, of 3-person podcast with Greenlight and Stu Boy. Please keep running up the views for that video. It was great content, great conversations, and delusional Cowboys fans and Mavericks fans are always going to make great content. And it's coming from a Mavericks fan and Cowboys fan, but our fan base is delusional. But yeah, like I said, please subscribe to our channel. Everyone's still gonna get their kind of their podcast stuff going through, like their personal episodes and stuff going through. So we're still waiting on that. We're gonna be on TikTok a lot more, so follow us at TITTP on TikTok. Follow us on Twitter, TITTP on Twitter. Yeah, that's about it. If you want to email us, throwinthetowl214 at gmail.com. That's about it. Again, thank y'all for spending your time with me, listening to the shit I had to say. But yeah, just please keep watching, and we'll try to put as much content out for you guys as possible, because we know, we like to keep the people happy, and I like to keep my people happy, and y'all been rocking with us since day one, and the people who are here right now, don't worry, I'm noticing. So like, if we ever do, once we do pop off, like the people who are with us right now, like we're noticing that. So I'm just saying. So yeah, please like and share this video. Follow us, Throwing the Towel 214 or Throwing the Towel podcast on YouTube, and like and subscribe on this video. Thank you. Peace.